really him. It's really him. You're a victim. Here we go, CSI.
So, I'm not gonna lie. When I heard about this news, it turned my head, and then I went back eating my lunch. I was not expecting to hear anything involving formerly WWE Superstar Mrs. Money in the Bank. I think she won the women's title in her career. If you guys don't remember Carmella, I don't blame you. She has worked a span 12 years in the WWE and has her fallout giving great shade to the WWE over disgruntlement and backlash over her tenure. Carmella, that peaked in 2017, prevailed as Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and an opportunity. In the latest rendition of the show is Stevie Richards, who performed in WWE in 1999 and 2008, explained that Carmella made a mistake in attacking the company after her departure. I'm really against the wrestlers giving interviews after leaving because you're not in the right mindset. You're not in your right emotional mindset. And to go out starting doing interviews after the release or contract runs out, or you quit, whatever, you're going to say something that you may regret. Because it's going to burn bridges. And of course it's coming out of Stevie Richards, that you possibly remember him part of the Blue World Order from ECW, had a stint over in WWE around the Ruthless Aggression era. So he's one of those guys that was in the mix, that knows a lot about the business, but possibly wasn't over in the echelon of where he was most valued. So he knows a thing or two when it comes to being let go. And the coping that goes into that, especially if you have tenure, and especially when you have relationships involving the company, that sometimes the WWE purposely breaks over to cut any dynamics or bias that goes over to how you're going to perform. And I'm not going to lie, Carmella was all that? No, not really. Was she in the company as long as she took? Yeah. And people would say that it's because of her looks that she had in the WWE. Because, like, she said, who has always been very, quiet and calm in recent years, she did not hide to hear her disappointment with the choice of the company, which seemed to intend on taking paths that enhance other athletes in the stage. That, time comes to pass, Carmella. Like, you're not the biggest conversation piece other than your relationships. You literally had a whole reality show to yourself with Corey Graves that was so mid that shit went over on YouTube. They put you in segments with R-Truth with the 24/7 title that was mopping up TV, TV time over the 24/7 championship with you doing skits and going around the globe stealing TV time over 2019 to like 2020. You can't deny that you've taken money out of this business and they've tried to invest over you as an it girl without you even wrestling, bro. She made a podcast appearance in which she revealed that WWE management has totally ignored her in the recent months, that she would not be expecting such treatment as after giving her best throughout her career. Bro, no one can tell me a match that Carmelo had, respectfully. Now, I would be like this to a female wrestler that's had value. But, like, you got Belair, Io Sky. Nia Jax even shows more value after her. Even I've openly accused her of being an unsafe worker in certain occasions. Of course, you got Jade Cargill. And then we got more investment over to the NXT women talent that are possibly going to be making a come up after SummerSlam. Time passes. And you were just at desperation echelon over in the Divas division. When you were, and I saw like the bias of her being like, it's because of the bias over going for the next big thing. Yeah, that's showbiz. Carmella is possibly over in a coping situation, knowing that whatever she's doing to put onto the table, she thinks that tenure is a reason that you can't get axed, when we've seen loyal, tenured workers in the WWE get axed, like Matt Hardy. Jeff Hardy's been axed because of his behavioral problems, even though his merchandise, his fanfare, and his bookings would tell you that there would still be time for him to still work and get that under the rug and sweep it under the rug just for the sake to sell more merchandise. Or wrestlers that just would escape over tenure that, shockingly enough, at least bring over value to even Natalia, as Dolph Ziggler as she is in the main roster, the veteranship and her media partnership, even though I feel like she's like a single weird mom with that obviously has more cats, show more love and affection to her cats than she does her own husband. Carmella's lack of talking ability over charisma, with like the reinvention of her even trying to make a femme fatale, like obviously trying to utilize her looks to push for heat, and that couldn't even work, that she couldn't even get a tag team to get herself over. But R-Truth couldn't get you over. Enzo and Cass couldn't even get you over. The only cool thing that involved Carmella was Enzo and Cass back on NXT, and guess what? It was Enzo and Cass that got called up on Raw, while you were in the shuffle on SmackDown. So right now, Carmella was like the cockroach over on the roster that they would rather just wait for your contract to expire before they actually focus on people that they would value to give money to. Now, people would try to glad hand and try to softball, answers, because, wrestling fans want a softball whenever it comes to tenured workers that, let alone to the segments, no one gives a shit about you for real. And the only way to value this is possibly look what you could have done if you want to still invest yourself as a brand over in the wrestling business, especially over in the indies, and make opportunities, especially that you couldn't even be valued to even be on TNA over the recent partnerships, when we've seen Naomi done well with herself after returning to the company after she was on TNA. Carmella's just over in the coping, and now she puts herself over in the media, where she just possibly burned her bridges on talking shit over the company that she was lucky enough to work around. And she's not even an interesting worker for even AEW to value around how they did over for Sasha Banks, because she still got leeway in the clout over being part of the Four Horsewomen. What does Carmella got? Respectfully, I still see Enzo Amore push over her work, even though I've heard of him being a lousy worker, a glad hand, shit talker that had heat with the with the locker room, but still, that talking ability, heat and exposure, and charisma that he can show once in a while is the reason why a lot of people still have that. While Carmella has been given a lot more stuff that we've seen fucking Gail Kim in 2 spurts in WWE didn't even get. That bitch is now a TNA Hall of Famer. So at least there's somewhat of a silver lining, even though it's like being the last employee of the month in a fucking Toys R Us after bankruptcy. Like, bro, come on. Tell me how you guys feel down below about Carmella. Future videos not that far from now. Thanks for watching the DSC show. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Go try to check out the last couple videos. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'm going to take my Tylenol.